We expect Manchester United still to be active, don't we, in the transfer window before it closes at the end of the month, Jules. Tell us more about the possibility of Ugarte making that move from PSG to United.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, this one, because United have had 2 offers rejected already, but they were quite a while ago. In the last 3 weeks, it's been a bit more quieter, maybe because if you look at the game tonight, we had a good Casemiro, much better than anything that we saw last season, for example. It's not the Casemiro that we saw at Real Madrid 2-3 years ago, but it's much better than what we saw. It was maybe United, certainly in possession, one of United's best players tonight. The ball for Bruno in the first half is an outstanding ball. He was very, very active in the game, and Kobe Mainoo next to him. So would you go and spend 65 million or 60 million on Ugarte when Casemiro is in this kind of form? I mean, you need more bodies, that's for sure, especially in that defensive midfield role. But spend all that money for somebody who might not be a starter in your team, that's what I think, that's where the Ugarte to United's possibility is right now. I think they are pondering it, because if Mainoo and Casemiro can offer you a really good season, then the backup doesn't have to be worth 65 million.
But that's a gamble, isn't it, considering what we saw from Casemiro last season, Craig, because obviously he did well today, but can you really judge him on one game?
No, because as the season rolls on and they play better teams and maybe they're getting a bit of a chasing in the middle of the park, which they did quite a lot last year, that's when he really struggled. And you can have a teenager in there all you want and Kobe Mainoo to run about after you, but the gaps that will leave is just too big to defend. So I think there is still a huge question there, but that's a lot of money for a player who, you know, we're talking about replacing a guy who's been a legend in the game, but let's be honest about it, the legs have pretty much gone. Now, he might be doing a decent job. He did a decent job in the Community Shield and another decent job tonight. As I say, it looks as if he's a little trimmer than last year. Maybe there's one last roll of the dice for him, I don't know. But to do it over a full season, I think, in England, with all the cup competitions that's going on, I think that's a bit much. So, you know, they've already spent a lot of money on players that are not regulars or might not be regulars. There's 60 million plus, I think, on Mason Mount. OK, he had injuries, but you can't say if when everybody's fit, Mason Mount's going to be a regular. Anthony was even more, not a regular. So they have these players that they've spent money on that, when fit, are not guaranteed to be in that first 11. I think they're at a stage now, if you're spending upwards of 50, 60 million, it has to be somebody that's going to come in and make a difference on a weekly basis. Because I think they've wasted enough money over the last few years. And that's one of the reasons maybe they're not able to go out and spend what they want. So, no, great for Casemiro at the moment. It's been a good start, but I don't know if he can last the season playing like that.
What do you think, Robbo?
Absolutely, they've got to get somebody else in. You know, Casemiro, I thought, was excellent last week. I thought he was outstanding in the second half in the Community Shield. Thought he played well again tonight with his passing. He looked fitter, as Craig said and Julien said. He looks much fitter, he looks sharper. But he's not going to be able to play the whole season. And I don't think Mainoo was going to be able to play the whole season. So you need cover. One of them might get injured, one of them might fall out of form. So you need good cover. And that means another midfield player in, because Mason Mount, I don't think, can come back and play in that position. I'm not sure Bruno Fernandes suits that position either, and McTominay looks as though they're always trying to get rid of McTominay, so they've got to get somebody in. Ugarte might just be that player that plays 70% of the games, and they have a little swap around every so often when the other players aren't fully fit, but they need another central midfield player, no doubt about that.